What's up, dog?
What's up, Betty? What's up, man?
What's up, Pierce?
It's so good to see you, bro.
So good to see you too, man.
Yeah. How did I get here?
Wow, you came in with amazing energy.
Well, if there's only one way to start. So now it's your turn. Now it's your turn to sort of give that energy back.
What's up, Pierce? Welcome to the Benny Feldman Podcast.
Angry.
The only podcast in the tri-state area that does this.
A nice treble on the top of the opening theme.
Oh, God.
Oh, God? I thought I did what you did.
I did. It was louder than I expected.
Oh, sorry to startle
right.
you. Here, check this out.
Welcome to the BFP.
What's PFP?
Benny Feldman's podcast.
Oh!
Trying to get that trending. Be sure to like and subscribe.
It's trending right now. Unbelievable.
On Twitter. BFP.
On Twitter.
Everybody's clicking on it. They're like, what is that? Some sort of
Is that
big friendly poop? That's right.
Yeah, a big flatulent poop. Yeah.
You ever, okay, let's talk strategy real quick.
Yeah.
You know when you like really need to shit and you're somewhere?
Totally.
Yo, we decided to cut this part out because we got too graphic talking about how we try to stop shitting.
That must be so much fun. That's what one co-pilot does, and then the other pilot flies the plane. One guy is in charge of doing all the switches.
Yeah, what's the co-pilot for?
I've read that many pilots report waking up and finding that their co-pilot is also asleep. So there's like at least some flight time on average where both pilots are asleep and the plane is flying itself.
We should get like 3 or 4 or 5 pilots for every flight. Just a crowded cockpit. They're all like, well, imagine you can't listen. Try to hijack a plane where there's 5 people in the cockpit.
You literally wouldn't even be able to fit in that cockpit. Yeah. You got to start. I mean, you have to put pilots in the overhead storage area if you even want to get. Yeah, it's like set dressing. You know
he's sleeping in there.
Yeah. What happens when your fellow hijacker falls asleep? You know. Yeah.
You both wake up safely in Newark. Like you were supposed to hijack the plane.
Oh no.
Oh fuck! The pilots are asleep. The hijackers are asleep.
Yeah.
The plane just.
And the passengers, let's be honest, they're probably watching movies. These days, passengers, they probably wouldn't even notice if the plane was hijacked.
They're watching Sully.
Yeah, there's.
They're watching. Wait, is Flight 93 a movie?
Flight 93 is a film, and it's a flight. Yeah. Flight 93 is a movie and a real flight.
We should preface that we are recording a day. We are recording on 9/12.
9/12. Yeah, we should preface that so that people know why we're talking about planes. That's an interesting hurdle.
It's fresh on the mind.
Right.
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
You have a really fascinating video that you have done of...
I'd say 50% of my body of work is 9/11 content.
Really?
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Should we explain the video or should we... I think I should.
Okay.
He's got a cool video. It's a kind of CGI thing. It's the Twin Towers. And a plane comes in and it gracefully misses them, sort of like, and does this like beautiful swan dance.
Planes,
it's there's 2 planes and they both miss the Twin Towers, and they do this like really beautiful swan dance, like air show ballet.
Yeah.
To like set to like really lovely
sort of PS2 nostalgia music. Yeah.
Yes.
The piece is called Dance, and it was animated by my friend Dot, and it was scored by my friend Zach Mitchell. And yeah, that's the opening of an anthology that I'm working on. That I guess I have finished.
I guess also, I mean, the thing with I'd like to also talk about 9/11 humor a little bit.
Yeah.
'Cause obviously, 9/11 bad. But
I wouldn't even go there necessarily. That's like calling Freddy Got Fingered bad, you know?
I'm actually not familiar with Freddy Got. I know it's some sort of cult horror game, but I don't know much else. Oh no, it's not. I'm thinking.
You're thinking of Five Nights at Freddy's.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, Freddy Got Fingered is that's the movie that is loathed. That you've never seen Freddy Got Fingered?
No. I have heard this though.
Okay. any movie that is historically loathed but has some cult following, I think, is comparable to 9. I mean, 9/11 is an artistic expression, and some people don't like the way that it makes them feel. I would say most people don't, but I don't think you can characterize 9/11 as entirely bad. It's like any form of expression. It has some parts that need to be celebrated and investigated.
I don't know how much I want to go along with that.
Okay.
But I do yes.
Okay, yeah.
I'm less of an irony guy. So it's cool. I do really appreciate you saying that and how you do. Like, I do really appreciate 9/11 humor, but I don't often make it.
Right.
Partly because it to me it does still feel offensive.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think that, I guess I can understand not wanting to make a joke about a tragedy.
Yeah.
But it's not because I don't think that we're not completely, we've absorbed it, you know? It's like, we've absorbed it in the same way that Wayne's World was absorbed by the new comic consciousness. Like, I would never watch and enjoy Wayne's World now because we've already absorbed it and evolved past it. So it feels like if we can't talk about the thing that is so embedded into everything that happens now, then we're refusing to talk about something that doesn't exist anymore. Like 9/11 doesn't really exist anymore. It has been absorbed so many times in the last 20 years that when we talk about it, we're really not talking about the event.
Oh, we're talking about we're talking about the conspiracies.
Mm-hmm.
And I do like that angle of it. Like, when people are making fun of like the reaction to 9/11, the Bush era, like all the elements around it. And it's just like, it's like you want to, because like I find it really funny, but it's also you want to do it in a way that's like also, because like people did, like it's tricky because it's like people did die, and it's like if you were to do 9/11 material on stage, for example, there are people who did know people, you know what I mean? And so
especially in New York,
in New York,
you're gonna run into people
who it literally affects in like a real world way.
Yeah.
You know? But at the same time, it's like what you're saying, where it's like it also doesn't exist in this weird. Oh, it does exist, but it exists in this like weird hyper spectrum of ways.
Right.
Where some people literally think it was done by George Bush, and some people think it was like a demolition. But
yeah, I think that's the other thing too is like.
Trying to save face.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how you get around that. I guess the trickiest thing is how do you make a joke about 9/11, or how do you even talk about it sort of cavalier without maybe encountering someone who is not prepared to meet you on that level.
And now that we've got out of the way that we're aware of the intricacies of the difficulties of talking about it,
right?
What if there was a plane and there were 10 pilots asleep?
What if you had a plane that was all pilots and one passenger?
Do you think? Okay, hear me out. That'd be very funny.
Yeah. Also, how do you hijack a tower? Let's talk about that. I mean, is there a way? No.
The thought being, what if Mark Wahlberg was on Flight 93 but he was asleep?
Yeah. What if? Yeah.
Wake up, Mark! It's happening.
Oh my God! This is the new Mark Wahlberg bit. Is if I was a terrorist on 9/11 and flying to Flight 93, I would have made it to the Capitol building. It would have gone really differently if I was on that plane. Trust me, I would have gotten her to where she was going, the Capitol.
I was thinking if Mark Wahlberg was on the Sully plane, he's like, it would have gone down pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Fucking.
I would have not crashed into a flock of geese if I was flying that plane. Let me tell you, you have to be an old geezer to fly into some geese.
Reminds me of. Did you ever watch? What's that? Fly Away Home. It's an old touching movie about this girl who like builds a goose-shaped airplane.
No.
In order to be the mama bird for some geese.
No.
It's a little beautiful movie.
Okay, you're tearing up just talking about it.
Yeah.
There is a movie that makes me tear up when I think and talk about it. It's called Annabelle's Wish. You ever see this Christmas movie?
What's that?
Christmas movie about a mute boy who lives on a farm, and there was a fire in the barn at one point, and he's still traumatized by it, which is why he lost his voice. And then there's this little cow, this like calf named Annabelle that he really loves. And Santa comes down one day, and every Christmas, Santa goes to all of the barns, and he lets all of the animals speak for one night.
Oh, sort of like a night at the museum, but Christmas did it.
Yes, and then so all of the animals can speak, and Annabelle loves speaking, and then she doesn't really understand why this is happening. It's her first Christmas, and she makes a wish to Santa at the end. Oh, she has a wish to be a reindeer.
This motherfucker gonna spoil it.
Oh, yeah. Well, if you haven't seen Annabelle's Wish, it's not going to affect you anymore. You will be immune to its charms. But she wants to be a flying reindeer with Santa.
It's like Wayne's World. It's now absorbed fully into your consciousness.
It's been absorbed fully into Christmas consciousness. But then she also wonders, maybe I should make a wish for Santa to use his magic talking serum on Billy, who is mute based on his trauma. So she has a whole selfless Christmas conflict. In the end, she becomes both a reindeer and Billy learns to talk.
I figured.
Because Santa basically has no rules. I don't know why Santa wouldn't give her all of her wishes. She's such a
Santa's
good girl.
Like, only one? And for the mute boy, some coal.
What do you wish for, little boy? Yeah,
oh, you don't... Oh, I couldn't hear you. Like, it's just
Speak up!
Santa being extremely ableist.
Santa must have a few outdated ideas about women, or
Yeah.
Santa can't he's been here for what, 400 years?
It's Mrs. Claus. She stay at home by choice, or she stay at home by Santa's outdated ideas of women.
Yeah, I have to believe that she wants to get out there. I think that honestly, Santa should give all the toys to the boys. And then Mrs. Claus should give gifts to girls. And non-binary people can ride reindeer and things like that. Yeah. Well, what? You don't want Mrs. Claus to have any Christmas magic, I guess. You just want her to sit her fat ass at home and wait for Santa. Yeah, I guess you just want her to be a housewife then. Anyone who doesn't think that Mrs. Claus should give gifts to girls and Santa should give gifts to boys, and it should be segregated in that way, wants her to continue not having...
That's right.
Girl
boss, Mrs. Claus.
That's what we want. Yeah.
Or maybe she has to stay home and make sure the elves don't escape.
She's a prison guard.
She's a prison guard. Also, Santa's like, he's gone for 24 hours. That factory is like, she's union busting.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
I want to see a really dark, like, Christmas movie.
Mm-hmm. Those don't exist.
That's probably been done. That's been done. I'm sure.
A dark Christmas movie. I don't think that could. Is that even possible?
The Nightmare of Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, The Night Before Christmas has nothing to do with Nightmare Before Christmas.
It's like documentary style. Like fucking what's that? The Cove.
Yeah.
Like it's just like an expose on like at the factory. It's just like
The Nightmare of Christmas. Yeah, it's just about kids who don't get good gifts on Christmas because their parents are broke. Yeah. Bad Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah. A documentary
like
about
bad Santa, but
yeah, but it's about Christmas in this fucked up country. That's bad Christmas.
It follows the story of one Jewish boy.
Mm-hmm. That's called Weird Christmas.
lighting the menorah.
Yeah.
That's the weirdest Christmas tree I've ever seen.
That's barely normal.
Are you Jewish?
No.
Okay.
I'm more Jewish than I am anything else, though. I have Jewish relatives more. And yeah, I mean, I don't know. I've celebrated Hanukkah, but I guess I celebrate regular secular Christmas, but that doesn't make me a Christian.
Nice secular Christmas.
Yeah.
What are the differences between a secular Christmas and a religious Christmas? Like
I think the biggest difference is you go to church. I guess that has to be one, is that you might find your fellow churchmen on Christmas.
Probably some decor differences, I'm imagining.
Mm-hmm.
A little bit less nativity, a little more like stars and shit. Fucking no. I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah.
Colorful lights.
Colorful lights versus completely bland, white, godly lights.
The number of sculptures of sheep in the building.
Yeah. I guess you're gonna see a lot more lambs on a non-secular Christmas, which is what I call Christ's Christmas, completely non-secular. And then, maybe you eat a different meal. Maybe you're just going to break bread and have red wine or something like that. Maybe you just do the Eucharist instead of a nice turkey dinner.
You know, I've never had a Eucharist. I feel actually, I took that back. I feel like somebody gave me one.
Mm-hmm. And so you
I
took
don't know
it?
But I've never been in the. I've never like gotten on
You
my
never
knees
really
and
partaken in
never partaken
in the sacrament or whatever that is.
I've never had the body of Christ.
Yeah, my aunt was a born again in Oklahoma, and I went to my cousin's baptism, and it was at a church. I was about to say restaurant. It was at a church in Oklahoma called H2O that was like sort of a cool punky hippie, and it like black
H2O.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It was like a black box theater, and they do baptisms. They do baptisms in like a black.
Can we get a word? The Lord's light.
Okay, that's 3. We're gonna do it anyway. Yeah, so it was a baptism in an inflatable indoor, like a pool, like a little inflatable pool, and the Eucharist was like these weird bready Tic Tacs. They literally looked exactly like Tic Tacs, but I guess they were bread. And then just like a kind of cool wine, and then like a cool juice. All I remember is the Tic Tac bowl. I just thought that was like the most cyberpunk church thing I could put. Like a Tic Tac bowl of bread was cool.
I like the idea of being born again Christian.
Yeah.
I do like that. That's cool. Tic Tac bread.
Yeah.
Like fucking they got mint flavor, now they got garlic cheese. Oh, my breath to smell like Texas toast.
Yeah. Me too. Yeah.
Again.
I guess. Yeah.
Born again. I was imagining a born again Christian going. Wah! I don't know. Just
Wait, that for Wario and garlic?
Oh, no.
Why did you say wah?
Like they're
like
a baby.
they're a baby.
Like they're a baby once more. Like they have to like pretend to be a child for like a few years.
Yeah. Born again. Yeah, they have to whine and they have to poop their pants. Yeah. I would probably not want to be around a born again if that was part of it.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd probably prefer that to whatever they're saying otherwise.
You're right. I think, yes, actually having people who want to... That's almost, yeah, just a born-again person, and Christianity has nothing to do with it.
They knock on your door, and you open the door, and they're like, Mama, Mama. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
They give you a pamphlet that says, are you my mom?
Yeah. Born-again people don't know how to get home. They don't know why they're there. They can't dress themselves.
Like,
yeah. That's, I guess, yeah, schizophrenia is being a born-again person. Yeah. No, I take that back.
No, I don't know. Yeah.
No, schizophrenic people, they can do all kinds of shit that babies can't do.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
Like walk.
This podcast is only edgy in aesthetic, but I don't actually go edgy with it.
I can feel you reeling me in.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I go, hey.
I
also think that I might like schizophrenia runs in my
me too.
Genetic. Yeah. Okay, cool.
I had to like fight it off.
Yeah?
I think so. I think there was a moment where I was going to go fully mad, and then I talked myself out of it.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
I'm obviously not to say that is always doable.
No.
But that's an interesting...
It's probably just a nice little compliment that I give myself, is that I outwitted my schizophrenia. But, yeah, it runs in my family, too. Yeah.
I don't know how much it runs. It's just like... there's a certain like I used to have after doing psychedelics I did have like intense paranoia for a while and like was like hearing stuff for several months and then it like kind of faded out as the Tourette's faded in. I've already kind of told this story.
So you acquired Tourette's, your adult onset?
Yes. Yeah.
Wow. So you should read this book that is like one of my favorite books that I talk about a lot. It's called
Mr. Tourette's Man.
Yeah, funny weirdo. It's this book called The Origin
Ripley's.
Sorry. Yeah. The Book of the Bizarre. It's called The Origin of Consciousness and the Breakdown of the Bicameral Mind, and it talks about auditory hallucinations and the relationship between auditory hallucinations and schizophrenia and then psychedelics and the ancient mind, the pre-monotheistic mind, pre-Abrahamic religion mind. Don't know if it touches on Tourette's syndrome, but yeah.
I am definitely interested. I had milder...
So when did you start having symptoms?
Well, I had milder Tourette's growing up.
Okay.
And then I did psychedelics, and then it was like I had the paranoia and
hallucinations, auditory ones.
The auditory.
Were they people telling you to do things or to think things?
No, it was like a really specific like singular personality guy. Like it was this guy making this noise.
Oh wow!
Like over and over again. Like he wasn't saying anything. It was like kind of like this guy going like. Wow! And it was like
he was yawning.
I
He wasn't yawning.
No, he wasn't yawning.
Okay.
It was like going like raw. Like, it's hard to explain.
Wow.
But
he was just sort of testing out his vocal cords in the way that like a baby does when they're colicky.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I mean, it was weird because I understand what you're saying with the idea of outwitting it, because I think that the paranoia I wasn't able to outwit. Paranoia that just purely grips you, and I'm like,
totally.
I did some shit where I like blockaded my door a few times because I thought people were trying to kill me and stuff like that. That has fully gone away, except when I smoke way too much. If I smoke too much weed, some trigger of that comes back, and I do hit that paranoia level again. But if I had a paranoia episode the other night.
Oh wow!
At my parents' house because I had smoked like a bunch the night before and just didn't get enough sleep, and then when I was there, it's like dark in their area, not because they don't live in the city. And I just was like, okay, somebody's in the house and they're about to kill me.
Yeah.
And I like fully lived in that reality in a way that like for like a few hours, like not in like a immediately like, oh, that's so silly, but like for a while, like,
right.
Okay,
you had to be quiet because you didn't want them to know where you were, this kind of thing.
Yeah, like okay, the dog will bark and then I'll run over and like tackle them, or like I'll get to this door and like get out. You know what I mean?
Having a dog is such a complete gift in paranoid situations. Yeah,
because she's not barking at all, and so I'm like, wow, they must be being so quiet. And then it's like,
I must be smarter than a dog when it comes to detecting things that I can't see. Yeah.
But then at a certain point, it's I don't know, like 2 or 3 hours in, I was like, oh, I'm having a paranoid episode right now.
Yeah.
Obviously.
Right.
And then once you get into the mental loop of going, well, what if somebody is here? You go, well, I'm having a paranoid loop, and or like episode. It's like you get in that loop, and you're like, eventually you just slide out of it.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, okay, I'm not going to smoke again for a little while.
Right. I haven't been bitten by weed in the way that almost all of my peers have. I still really fuck with weed. I still really respect it. And I've definitely had bad experiences on weed. I've never like fully said, okay, I'm done. And I know so many people that I used to get high with all the time. They're like, yeah, just it stopped jiving with me. It's not for me anymore. And I can't say that, I mean, I'm probably a less than average paranoid. I think I'm less susceptible to paranoia than the average person, let alone the average, like, maniac or schizoid. But, yeah, I guess, like, the worst that can happen when I get, like, a paranoid inkling on weed is that I try so hard to talk myself out of it, and then I always succeed. I always am like, yeah, even if my friends hate me right now, they won't later. Even if I'm being so annoying, it's only really bad if someone tells you to leave, and like that's never happened to me before. Yeah. And even if it does, it doesn't matter. Someone can tell you to leave because you're being weird, and then you go home and then you sort your shit out. Like literally, like it's not the end of the world is like the most useful advice that anyone has ever given me about anything.
Especially for social anxiety.
Totally.
It's like
you can't go wrong. You literally just can't fuck up that bad.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's tough. It's tough when it's like anything beyond that, where you're like, they're about to kill me.
Yeah,
that's tricky. But if it's like,
what if they kill me?
You know, or it's like if they're mad at me or something. Yeah. Or like back when weed was a lot less legal, being like, oh, there are police nearby. You know what I mean? And that would freak me out a lot.
Totally.
But something that's helped is like if I'm able to imagine two realities where I'm like, all right, there's my anxious reality and then there's the possible normal reality. As long as I can imagine the possible normal reality, things are cool.
I think about it almost in the exact same way. I think about it literally. It's so interesting because we have probably the same perspective, but we arrange it differently architecturally. But I think about it as you have a version of yourself that is outside of you that is telling you, you are a mess, you are a fuck up, this is not working, you're bad. And so you're imagining that entity outside of yourself. It's you, but it's outside of you and it's judging you. So either ignore it or agree with it. Become that person who doesn't like who you are right now. Become the person who's criticizing this version of you. And then agree, yes, I'll be you. I'll be the guy who hates me instead of this guy. But you win either way. There's no way to lose that. As soon as you conceive of yourself as someone who may be bad, you either ignore it or you indulge it, and then you win. You can't lose. You literally win both ways.
You either are like, you're either like, no, I'm not, or it's time to improve.
Yeah.
It's like there's either
The person who's judging you is you. The person who's judging you and criticizing you is an imaginary outsider entity that is just your own ability to imagine a better version of yourself.
That's beautiful. The only way to truly lose that would be to, like, if you did imagine yourself as bad, and you're like, it's impossible for me to improve, and I'm going to stay bad forever. And it's like, but that's
then you're
never
still
the
winning.
case.
Yeah, if you
What even
choose to
that's
be
like.
bad, then you're evil, and then you're winning.
It's like, oh yeah, then I'm just like going villain mode.
Yeah, that's easy. Swallow the villain pill. People have done it before. Yeah.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite Disney villain? Wild breaking.
Who is my favorite Disney? I guess my favorite
Were
Disney
you a Disney
villain.
kid? I'm
No, I
fascinated
fucking hate Disney.
But-
I always
but
thought it was
as
for
a
girls.
Child. Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, what the fuck? I guess I had Bambi on DVD or on VHS. I think Bambi was the only movie I owned on VHS. And then Pixar, obviously. I was into Pixar because Pixar was for boys. But I always thought Disney was for girls, and so I avoided
That's
it.
an interesting. But now that you're an adult and you know that,
That
and you
it's-
know that it's not this gender dichotomy, have you
Right.
gotten into Disney lately? Now that you,
No, so
that'd be really funny. Like,
yeah,
of
actually,
you of
yeah.
all people to become a Disney adult. As
I
like
was
as
completely wrong. No, I did this piece about speaking of evil. I did this. So the 9/11 piece is the first in a series of 4 shorts.
my
Called,
favorite Disney villain, Osama bin Laden.
Yeah. It's called Decline Comedy, and it goes from... So the 9/11 one starts in Paradise, and then it goes from Paradise to Inferno. And so the last piece is called Inferno, and it's like this 20-minute performance that I do with these Disney CRT TVs with detachable speakers, and I use a laser disc of the original Fantasia, and then I have this Melody Time VHS that I tape over with like those algorithmically generated children's videos that are like that appropriate Disney characters.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, like
Those are great.
Elsa Spider-Man ones. There's this review of the original Fantasia that came out that was written by this woman, Dorothy Thompson, who used to be like a super pro-Israel journalist. And then visited Israel and was like, "Oh my God, this is really
Too many
bad."
Jews.
Yeah,
I made a similar joke. I keep making it.
yeah. Yeah, and then she was also she interviewed Adolf Hitler before she came to power, or before he came to power. Before
Misgendering Hitler.
yeah,
That's funny.
yeah, that's disrespecting Hitler by misgendering him. Before they came to power, that would trigger him. Yeah, she interviewed him, and she was like, everyone thinks that this guy's a joke, but he's big trouble, and everyone ignored her. Anyway, she wrote a review of Fantasia, and she said it was comparable to Nazi abuse of power. She said it was the perverted betrayal of the best human instincts and the genius of a race turned into black magical destruction, just like Nazism. So she left Fantasia in theaters in like a panic attack. She didn't even stay for the last 2 acts, but she thought it was like the most evil thing she had ever seen.
I've
She thought it
only
was a
seen
nightmare.
bits of it. And then
Uh-huh.
there's like whales flying around. What the hell is
That's
she talking
Fantasia
about?
2000. That's like the revamp of Fantasia.
What's Fantasia?
The original Fantasia is a 1940, maybe even earlier, 1940
It's like
movie.
racist and shit.
There was a huge controversy because one of the scenes, which takes place in Olympus, like Mount Olympus, with all these centaurs and like mostly just centaurs, like and cupids and all kinds of Greek myths and stuff hanging out with each other. There is a slave centaur that's like a black girl centaur who's a donkey instead of a horse, and she's got like she just looks like a blackface. She's like the most racist possible caricature of a black person, and she's manicuring the hooves of all of the white centaurs.
And it's not played as like it's not like this is bad.
No,
It's
I mean
like,
it's
this
a
is,
joke. It's like a funny
wow.
joke.
Okay.
And so in all future versions of Fantasia, they like had to use new technology to remove this racist caricature. Actually, they had to invent new shit to get her out.
That's fascinating.
Yeah, but her disagreement with it wasn't that it was like expressly racist, but that all the things that we know now we take for granted with Disney, which is like the animals when they are designed to be women they look like prostitutes. Like even a goldfish looks like a prostitute.
The villains are Jews, etc. Oh yeah, the one goldfish, she's got like big lips
Yeah,
and
and
shit.
eyelashes.
And it's like
Yeah, she says, a fish is a fish until it gets a girl's face, then the painted and mascaraed eyelid droops with an invitation to be prostituted. And she says, nature is swift.
She wants to fuck that fish.
I know,
She's trying to
she
fuck that
fell
fish.
for it.
She had to run out of that theater with her tail between her legs. She's going, I'm trying to fuck this fish. Oh,
I got to write. Yeah.
I'm horny for the fish.
She basically had the same experience that the whatever that guy is from Hunchback of Notre Dame has when he sees Esmeralda.
Dude, if I saw that fish, you know I'm pulling a Pee Wee Herman in that theater, dude.
Oh yeah.
You know I'm
Come
fucking.
on,
I'm looking at that fish. I'm going.
Ooh. I remember I watched that movie on acid for the first time on Laserdisc, and I remember all my friends and I just laughing, just like, fuckable fish, man. Fuckable fish. We all took turns in the bathroom. Yeah.
What was that? I'm sorry. I interrupted with my
No.
At the last bit, you were saying something about
Don't
remember. I forget. Doesn't matter.
It
Anyway,
don't matter.
I had to interject with that hilarious riff about trying to fuck that fish.
Yeah. What is the most fuckable fish? It's a good question. Probably an
swordfish.
eel. Okay. Swordfish is like a vibrator that has that little clit stimulator. Yeah.
Sea urchin.
Sea urchin.
What's it thinking? I did have a thought backwards about Disney, but I forget what it is.
Well, you asked me what my favorite villain was.
Yeah.
Don't think I really have an answer.
Oh, you were gonna say Disney in general for their racism.
Mickey Mouse. I guess, yeah.
The corporation at large.
Capitalism. Who the fuck is my favorite? I mean, I guess...
capitalism, the trademark license is going to expire. Anybody's going to be allowed to do capitalism soon. Yeah. What do they say? They say 50 years plus Mickey Mouse for being able to buy and sell property and things like that. Yeah. I can't wait to appropriate capitalism with my own little Banksy project. Banksy's probably going to be... Banksy hasn't been able to draw anything that's pro-capitalist because it's trademarked. he's had to do a bunch of like, Palestine's good. Or what, I don't know. Which I agree with. But Palestine's good. Oh, yeah. Okay, Banksy. Yeah. You can't be one guy. No, Banksy, yeah. If it's all over the world, Banksy taking private jets to go do some graffiti. Banksy taking private jets to be sad terrorist. I love that you can search Banksy sad terrorist and you can find something that sold for like $4 million. A guy in a ski mask and an AK-47 with a big blue Disney tear coming down. Oh, he's a genius, man. Yeah. He got the people talking. Oh, yeah. He did get the... You can shred a painting? Listen, obviously... corny on one hand. I should stop futzing with this. Yeah, but I love the shredded painting. Fucking, I think it's cool that it didn't work. That is pretty cool. It didn't work? Well, it was supposed to shred all the way, but it got stuck halfway through. Wow. Yeah. Damn. Maybe that was the true metaphor. Is that paintings are good. That's the definition of a metaphor. Yeah. Paintings are good. Banksy. Yeah, who would have thought Banksy had that idea? Banksy's whole theme is graffiti's cool. Yeah, and he experimented with making a device that instead of shredding it would have a little Banksy come out and tag it, but he couldn't figure that out. What if one of Banksy's graffitis was just like a Banksy and like the coolest lettering, just like huge bubble font with like silver. Yeah, people were like, "Damn, that's sick as fuck." With that S. Does it have like a dot in it? What's his S? No, I just mean the S that you used to do in your yearbooks. Oh, okay. The S. I thought maybe he had a unique... Because he writes Banksy on stuff, right? I think he does. I don't think it has a dot in it. I think his name looks like Chicken Scratch or something. By the way, how is your handwriting? Oh, dog shit. Mine's so bad. I would love to see what yours looks like. Here you go. Oh, these are your rules. No, those are my jokes. Oh. That's like wow, we have pretty similar handwriting. You want to see how I hold a pencil? Check this out. Wow. Check this shit out. All of Benny's jokes. Oh, shit. Sorry. But I shouldn't have done that. That's my top secret. I could tell you. I'm trying to send some tapes to some shows. Oh, nice. To them or whatever. That's just all that says. Tapes to like booked stand-up shows?
Or to TV shows?
TV. Trying to do some TV spots or whatever.
Oh, cool.
But this is one of those things where you're announcing, I have some eggs in my basket.
Right.
And
Like a pre-announcement. Like, I have very special news
absolutely
coming up.
nothing. Yeah. This, you know what I mean? Just like, I'm just doing some emails. I was going to show you, like, this is how I hold a pen. I'll do it for the camera somehow. I'll do it over here. Yo, but that's like for real.
Yeah, you got like you got a nice grip. You got like a T-Rex grip.
Yeah, people always tell me that I have like that I hold a pencil the weirdest way.
This is how I got mine. It's like these two fingers are doing nothing. They're just sort of down here.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's pretty similar.
I know.
That's probably how we have similar writing.
Look at that. That's like very similar to your handwriting.
Wow. Yo, that's pretty cool.
I know.
That's like
I had a hunch that we would be pretty similar there.
Wow, how'd you guess that? That's that's interesting.
I think you and I both kind of have big hands and little wrists. My wrists are like even half the size of yours, but I think it makes it unwieldy, sort of like a pendulum. I think it's hard to control.
Oh. And then we end up using a similar mechanism to stabilize it, which has like a weird shape. Yeah. Okay. I never thought about that.
Maybe. I also think that maybe we're just two goofballs, and for that reason we might have...
Yeah, I thought it was some sort of kindred spirit thing, but instead it's like some sort of physical...
No, I think it is kindred spirits, but I did want to comment on my own... I'm already so self-conscious about my wrists appearing. I'm just like, look, I feel like the Always Sunny lawyer, but I can't believe that my wrists will always look like this.
I've been trying to figure out how to become a larger man.
It can't happen. I think for some people it just doesn't happen.
I don't know. I'm trying to figure it out.
It will happen for you, baby.
It'll happen for me.
Yeah.
No, probably not. I think I'd like to become like ever so slightly, just so that like you know what I mean.
Yeah, I would like for some people to view me as a potential threat because I've definitely adapted to a personality where no one ever thinks that I am a threat at all ever, which has done wonders for like a very specific brand of like interpersonal relationships and comedy, and my ability to build first impressions where like I can be kind of an asshole when people first meet me is because I assume that they won't think that I'm an actual threat. So I can be as big of an asshole as I want, and most of the time it won't go so poorly because I don't look like a mean guy. I look like a shrimp. I look like a dork. I look like a nerd. So if I'm mean, people are just like, oh, he's just joking, which
you are.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And if people think that I am an asshole and they don't want to deal with me, that's fine. And then I don't have to deal with
new friends.
Yeah.
If they can't read a certain level of like joke.
Well, totally. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, it must be a thing that all comics have in common to a certain level. I might be more hyper aware of it, but I do try to play the exact middle of sarcasm when I first meet someone. Just because if it goes well, then it's a stronger bond than you can get otherwise. And if it goes poorly, then you just flush out people that wouldn't get along with you anyway.
Yeah. But like, if you can't go like day one meeting somebody like, what if there were 10 pilots on the 9/11 planes? Like,
my girlfriend and I did try that the other night. I said that I could talk to rats, and then they were like, "Well, how do you do that?" And I'm like, "By fingering them." And somehow it didn't go over well. And my girlfriend's trying to like help me with the bit, and then we just making it so much worse that we just had to walk away.
It's sort of a reverse Ratatouille situation.
Right.
There's all these mice, and I've got my fingers on all of their heads, and I play them like a piano, and I go, "You add the spices, you add the."
Yeah. Instead of cooking, it's whatever the rat equivalent of cooking is. I'm helping rats to eat shit better.
I'm holding mice's heads down into a trough where I force them to gargle food.
Yeah. I'm the rat whisperer, but I make them do what they were gonna do anyway.
Yeah. It's just me. It's just you whispering like, "Eat, eat,
go,
eat,
scurry, scurry." The rat commander just goes up to rats and says, "Scurry!" Yeah. How does he do that? Holy shit!
Yeah, I'm the bird whisperer. I run through flocks of pigeons at the park and yell, "Fly!
Fly away!" Yeah, I'm the monkey whisperer. I say, "Swing." Yeah, you could probably do this all day.
Yep, I'm the fish whisperer. I say, fall in love with me. It actually works, though. That's the thing. A lot of people don't know this.
Yeah.
That's one of the joke there is that all fish inherently are in love with me.
Right.
Such as Disney fish.
Disney fish, yeah. Yeah, why is it that Disney fish are so attracted to me? What is it about me that they like so much?
Well, and me personally, it's because I'm sort of the Act 1 Jew-coded villain who is then like I'm
Right.
Act 2 or 3. I'm revealed to be the bad guy because of my nose.
Right.
Like, oh, you thought he was a good guy. But you knew otherwise because we made his facial features and body incorrect.
You're right. And let's be honest, people of the Benny attracted persuasion, they love shit like that. They love when someone might be a little bit of a bad boy.
That's right.
They love when someone's a little bit of a bad boy.
I am. I'm sorry. Are you a bad boy?
Am I a bad boy?
I don't think I'm a bad. I don't know if I'm a bad boy.
No, I don't think either of us are bad boys. It's hard to tell, though. I mean, because we all could be a little bit bad sometimes. Yeah.
I would say I am definitely not a bad boy. What a way to say that.
Mm-hmm. I would say that I'm definitely not a bad boy.
I am a good boy.
Uh-huh.
No, but I don't know. I definitely not.
This is so funny to watch you talk yourself out of saying.
I have no idea. It's like, I don't know what the brand is. Like bad. Like I'm not like I'm not a James Dean type of person.
Yeah, you're not Elvis. I mean? Yeah.
But am I sometimes an edgy leftist based podcaster? No.
Yeah, I'm also a bad boy in the way that like a CIA asset is a bad boy. I'm a bad boy in the way that a targeted individual might be a bad boy. Yeah.
Yeah, you're a bad. Yeah, you're the kind of guy that gets like assassinated by the Saudi Arabian government.
Right. For almost no reason. Yeah. That's my bad aesthetic.
You're the kind of guy that like if you died, there'd be a whole subreddit like looking into it.
Yeah.
And they'd have like these weird like. One police chief in your hometown would like be taken under by Reddit, but it would be incorrect.
Yeah, you'd be getting a lot of false flag reports. Yeah, I think if you died, Benny, everyone would say he was not a bad boy at all. He was so good.
What a good boy.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good boy. That's a good boy. That there was a good boy.
I'm the Benny whisperer. I walk up behind him and I go, "Dick," and it always works.
Good boy.
Good boy.
I'm a dog whisperer.
Yeah.
I go, good boy.
Good boy. You're so good.
I do think I took that Harry Potter test online.
Like which house are you?
Which house you are.
Yeah.
And then they also give you your Patronus, and it told me I'm a husky. I'm the dog. I'm a husky dog. Which I'm like, first of all, I wanted to be told I was some sort of bug. But then I was like, oh, okay. I mean, the husky makes sense.
Yeah.
It feels unoriginal.
You can't pick a dog as your spirit animal. Is a Patronus a spirit animal?
It's spirit animal, but minus the
Native American connotation. Yeah.
It's just it's minus that plus some cringe and
they use dogs
turfism.
Too. Yeah. I don't think you can pick a dog as any sort of spirit animal adjacent thing. I think that's cheating because we definitely bred dogs in our image. It just doesn't count.
In our image?
Yeah.
To look like us? What do you mean?
Well, we bred them according to what we desire. I guess not in our image. Although some of them, we definitely removed their snouts over years of snout castration. Pick the ones with the worst noses so that now like a pug has a human shape face. I think we've done that to
We
the
should
wolf.
do that to people. We should start selectively breeding people.
No.
No. All right, rein me back in.
I'm
just trying to be a bad boy. Fuck.
Damn.
I'm a bad boy I'm like an old phrenology doctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sort of the plague doctor of the Brooklyn comedy scene.
Yeah, it's funny to imagine a phrenology bully with his hat kind of askew, and he's just talking about measuring kids' skulls on the playground. Yeah, he's a bad boy, but it's only because he has a crush on you.
Damn, girl, your skull's so Mediterranean.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, that's something a bad boy might say.
That's right.
Yeah.
Do you think you're a good boy?
Yeah, I don't know. I do. People, my closest friends, and I think I'm evil. I think I'm a little bit dark. I think I'm plagued by something maybe bad.
Do you think making a lot of the 9/11 content, I do find that interesting. Like you do you feel like you do have a edgier sense of humor? Like do you feel like
I think
this is the most edgy podcast I've done in a while, by the way.
Is it really?
I usually but people have different senses of humor, and for some reason, it also is the day after 9/11, so it did come up like mentally.
Yes.
But
it arrived.
But yeah, it's interesting to.
Well, this is the other thing about
you know what I mean.
This is another thing about 9/11 is like it will never be a surprise again. We'll always see it coming from now on. Truly. Like the whole act of 9/11 being something that happened spontaneously out of the blue and turned you on, literally like ended the chapter of the new millennium and began a whole new chapter, will never happen again. So there's only one. It only happens once. There's only one way to do it, and in some ways, it kind of had to happen in order for us to live in the environment that we live. Like, we do owe 9/11 for this version of the 21st century that we live in.
I mean, well, that's I'll disagree with that from the angle of it's where like when people are like, oh, this bad experience that happened to me in my past, like this personal trauma made me the person I am today, and I'm grateful for it for that. It's like, well, you probably also would have liked to have not had the trauma. You know what
totally.
I mean? And it's like, yes, you can still be stronger for it,
right?
Or how you are for it, but at the same time, you can still go. But plus, we also wish it hadn't happened. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
I agree. I do think that, I mean, it sucks that people had to die for that expression to happen. But this 9/11 as like I think the intention behind it, if there was any intention other than to distract from some kind of insane conspiracy that's happening that the actual state apparatus of the U.S. engineered, which I definitely think is 100% plausible. But if it was an actual cultural expression outside of that, outside of the cynical part, where it was trying to tell a story about global politics and like this centuries, millennium-long conflict between different groups of people, if it was really trying to tell a story about that, and it was trying to use murder as a way to tell that story, then I think that we actually have to negotiate with whether or not people die for all kinds of reasons, including 9/11, and that 9/11, like, yeah, I'm not even qualified to make this argument, but I do like thinking about it. I like thinking about how it is a part of a story of a very, very, very long conflict that has been happening since before there was even recorded history.
Oh, definitely. I mean, but it's like also like, pay. It's a weird, like, kind of paying for stories with other people's real lives is like that. It's like this element where it's like, you still wish it hadn't happened to these people. I don't know. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Totally.
Yeah.
You wish that it had, but that feeling of wishing that it hadn't happened, I think, is separate from thinking of the. Yeah, I mean, like, it almost wouldn't. I just feel like maybe it speaks to the alienation of where we're at and where we were born into, but there really is no thing that we could ever endeavor to create that is as meaningful and as powerful as that thing. Which, like, it is an act of creation.
It had a massive impact. Oh,
yeah.
Well,
it's not just destruction. I think it is. I think it's an act of creation.
Well, I see what you're saying. I would say it was an act of. And, I mean, it's like it's tricky because it feels like putting these sort of romanticized story. Like, you can put these storied lenses on it, and you can say it was an act of creation from this like long arc of like Islam versus Christianity, the West versus the like the Middle East, etc. It's like you can totally do that. There's all these lenses you can put on it. Base level, it was destruction. It was flying a plane into a building. You know what I mean? And it's like sometimes when you abstract away from it to these levels, which are still accurate, like that is still true. It was also an active creation, but it just feels like calling it an active creation just feels bad.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Totally.
It's like, and I understand, and I agree because I do like it's like the whole point was to like add this new chapter to the world's story, like literally forcefully go. Consider this. Think about this. It was massive propaganda.
Right.
But
you're right.
Damn.
Yes. But I
thought
also,
we'd have to reckon with 9/11 on a comedy podcast. Anyway.
I hope I'm not ruining your blowing
No.
up your spot
No. I like getting into it.
Yeah. Well, I'm also sorry that I've made this an edgy podcast.
No. Please. I also did that. I just like. Oh, if anything, I'm glad we're discussing the idea of edgy comedy.
Right.
Because it's. A lot of people are ironic online, and I'm not doing that as much. What were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, let's talk about that instead.
Well, okay, so not just 9/11, but how do you feel about like irony in general?
I think that I don't know. I feel like it's pretty impossible to be absent of irony right now. I think irony is like a part of the... I think it's like one of the first assumptions that you make before you actually engage with this world as it is right now, is that if you were actually sincere about how everything is right now, you couldn't actually play the game. You couldn't actually, like, everything about what is happening right now is so traumatizing and bad. And unless that you think that it's only bad if you make it bad, and making it bad, I think, is an act of irony. Just saying, like, oh, we're all fucked and climate change is going to kill us all anyways, and our whole generation is fucked, we'll never own a home, and, like, everything's going to be underwater. Like, that feels kind of like an ironic sentiment. That feels like you're deliberately not playing the game that you were raised to play, and it feels like you are being ironic about being an American who lives in capitalism and imperialism and democracy. Because, of course, you can't even say any of that stuff without having benefited from being educated about all of it. Like, it takes a certain amount of privilege to even reckon with the, like, treachery and tragedy of our situation. So you benefit from the same systems that oppress you, you know, in some ways.
Yeah.
So,
ironically, the sincere sentiment is this weird ironic statement now.
Yeah, because there would be no reason to profess the awful circumstances if there wasn't something to be gleaned about saying it out loud. Clearly, complaining about how fucked we are doesn't actually do anything for you or the people that you're communicating to. You don't get anything out of it except maybe some status, or maybe you are building this sort of avatar of a person that you think should be that, but there's no material benefit from complaining about how fucked we are. So it feels ironic to do it.
I agree with that most of the time. I think some complaining does spread information. If you go like, oh, fuck, there's wildfires here that are constantly burning, it's like, oh, damn, that's good to know. That's good.
Right.
You know, it's just useful information.
Right. I completely agree with that. I guess I think silence...
But once everybody knows, just repeating it's not good. Sorry, what did you say?
I think that silence is the only actual form of sincerity. I think that as soon as you are speaking about something that's happening, you are dressing it in a certain layer, maybe just like the smallest possible percentage of irony, but I don't think that you can describe something or contextualize something using language, whether it's verbal or nonverbal or even through images, without adding some kind of unnecessary layer which makes it a little bit more ironic than it was before. I think approaching the world silently is the only way to engage with it without irony.
Do you think that's ironic, though? The kind of I'm imagining the guys on, like, the Titanic who played music just as it sank. Do you know what I mean? They're just like, you know, I don't know how much are they being silent. They're actually playing music in that context. But it's like, if somebody were to just stand there silently as the Titanic sank, it's like, that's an ironic, that ironic non-gesture is, you know what I mean? I think it is, because, I mean, silence for me personally would be a lot more insincere, because I don't feel silence as being, like, part of, like, what my goal or like I do feel like and I do see what you're saying, where anything I say would have some skew no matter what, but it's still saying something in one direction feels more accurate to my reality than silence. You know what I mean?
I completely feel the same way. I mean, I literally, you can't shut me up. I love to talk.
Yes, I can. Folks, welcome to the Benny Feldman.
Come on, this isn't fair. This isn't right.
These are right here if you ever want to fuck with these.
If I ever want to fuck with these, you have a soundboard.
Right.
I don't know.
Pussy, or whatever they fucking.
Cock. Fart.
You're not doing it to the mic, so they.
Yeah, you got to plug your soundboard in. Pussy, cock. Yeah, I don't know. I guess I remember when Trump got elected, I made the worst fucking tweet of my life that, like, did pretty well, but I was just like, today's the last day we get to be ironic. You should virulently demand sincerity from your friends at all times. I just like thought, okay, now we're all gonna be sincere because a fascist is in the White House, and now I just can't believe I ever held that belief. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, but at the time you were sincere though. That doesn't mean it's ironic necessarily. I mean, there's also a few types of irony, I guess.
Totally.
There's cause and effect irony where it's like, you wanted this thing to happen, but like this sort of opposite thing happened. That's like classic irony. But we're using irony in the sense of like sort of social layering of like sarcasm, which.
We'll talk more about that first kind because I can't say I know exactly what you're talking about.
The sort of thing where it's like the one day you go to because it's like that kind often gets confused with coincidence, and I'm trying to remember the exact example. But the idea being like you're so hungry for pancakes, and the way you die is getting pancakes shoved down your throat. I don't know if that's like
okay,
like because that's not irony in the sense of like the way people are using irony to be like ironic online, because that's a type of sarcasm and character based irony,
right?
Or that's a type of like dramatic irony,
right?
Which means something very different. It's sort of in-group knowledge, whereas this is
you're talking about more
classic
of like
logic structures. What?
Yeah, you're talking about like a wacky coincidence kind of irony.
Yeah. Which is the like formal definition.
I could have swore that was a misnomer. I could have swore that classical version of irony that you're talking about, or at least maybe the cringe Reddit atheists at some point were trying to disentangle that isn't it ironic.
The song by Alanis Morissette?
Yeah.
And like the classic point is like, this one's an irony, this one is a wacky coincidence.
Right.
Like the idea of like, I don't know, like getting caught in the rain
on
is
your
not
wedding
ironic.
Day? No, yeah.
That's a coincidence.
Shitty thing.
Yeah. But it's like some sort of
but
definition.
If you had a rainy wedding at a
if you had an underwater wedding and it got rained out or something, that might be ironic.
Yeah,
you know
that might be ironic.
It's like it has to be directly.
Yeah. Or if, let's say, you were getting married to a rain cloud, and then it didn't rain.
Mm-hmm.
That might be and
you're a fish.
And you're a fish. And you're
a
underwater. Why not?
Fish.
Yeah, you're a sexy fish, and that's your wedding day.
Mm-hmm.
And that might be ironic.
But anyway, the point is, yeah, hell yeah. What would that cake look like? What would that fucking cake look like, dude?
Yeah. Okay, so like a soggy sort of, and let's say the cake is not moist, right? Let's say it's sort of a dry cake on your wedding day. Mm-hmm. Okay, underwater.
I can't wait to get married, dude. Lose my virginity.
Dude.
Oh my god.
I bet it feels so good.
It's gonna be so great to lose your virginity on your wedding night.
It sucks that you can only lose it once. You can't even lose it again on your wedding night.
Well, you could get divorced and then get married again. Lose your virginity again.
That's true. Yeah, I guess if you get an annulment, they also annul
whenever
your virginity. Yeah.
Whenever I see somebody who's been married a few times, I'm like, that guy likes sex.
That guy can't get enough pussy.
That guy can't get enough pussy.
Yeah. Or can he?
Or she. Or they.
Right.
I was doing it from the male perspective for myself, projecting.
Right. Yeah, I shouldn't have said that guy could.
If it's a rain cloud.
Mm-hmm. Or a fish.
Or a fish.
Yeah.
Could be
Some fish can
sexy
sort of
fish.
Switch their chromosomes on command.
Yeah. There's no saying that if you're a fish with luscious lips and thick eyelashes that you're not the gender that's being projected by the Disney artists.
Yes, that's an old school belief. A slutty looking bimbo fish can also have different pronouns than she, her.
That's right.
Yeah. Back in the day.
And I'm still fucking it.
Yeah, trust me. It's a fish, you know? I'll find a hole.
I'll find a cloaca.
Yeah. And I know where it is. It's actually in the same place that you think it might be.
Do fish have cloaca?
Yeah.
They do? I knew birds do, but I wasn't sure if fish do.
They gotta.
They gotta.
They gotta.
They gotta have one. I'm just trying to have a salmon spawn on my dick and balls.
Roe? A nice roe?
A nice roe, dude.
Whew. You ever have uni? The sea urchin gonads.
No.
Very good food.
Ooh.
Very nice food.
That's
Just sort of a slimy little paste that is their reproductive tract.
Oh, that's nice.
Mm-hmm.
Same.
Let's go.
Dude, you gotta see what I got going on
I gotta
down
see
there.
your slimy paste,
Woo!
bro. Come
Woo!
on, just show me. No. No, come on. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, irony.
Irony.
Yeah.
Edgy. I don't know if I ever think that I want to be edgy. I mean, I definitely used to like the edgier comedians.
We're coming up on an hour, by the way. Sorry to interrupt.
Is that how long you normally go?
That's how long. Well, yeah, and then we do a second one for Patreon.
Oh, okay.
So we can we can do a little bit more here, kind of tie our irony thoughts up.
Okay.
A nice little bow.
I guess that's a difficult bow to tie up.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how not to be ironic, I guess. But
I try not to be, but I mean, I see what you're saying where everything is, but I also think there's like a lot of the jokes I'm making online are like if I'm making a bug joke, there doesn't need to be an ironic element because it's not. I mean, but there is partially where it's like maybe I'm doing a character who's like a weird guy who's eating a bug. I am eating bugs though.
Right.
You know what I mean? But it's there's different lie elements to it.
Yeah.
But then there's like somebody like Matthew Golden, who you're a good friend. He's doing like really pure ironic character stuff, and like to me, I'm like that he's doing irony. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, he's doing old school like revolution pamphlet irony. He's doing modest proposal irony. Yeah, I don't know how anyone could look at that and not say that is awesome. I want to try that. It's hard because
that's not. That's not how I feel. I love that he's doing it, but I feel like if I do that, it would get so misinterpreted like he does, and I don't want to be misinterpreted. You know what I mean?
There's something kind of cool about being misinterpreted, though. I think, I think that I feel like, well, I mean, going back to maybe Matthew Golden is the comedy equivalent of 9/11, but just trying to create something that is as good as it is bad, I think is like pretty cool. I think that's like a kind of an achievement.
Like that pisses people off. Like
well, that creates something. If you make something that creates an in-group and an out-group just by having created it, I think that's really, really special. And I feel like
really,
yeah, I feel like if you can start or contribute to a dialogue that further calcifies different communities, like if you can sort of create something that is propaganda for one group and propaganda of a different sort for a completely different group, like in Matthew Golden's case, it's more evidence that the SNL writers are a bunch of woke cringe lords, if you are that kind of person. Or it's evidence that Twitter alt comics have their finger on the pulse of how to write in a specific voice. I mean, I hope that's a good characterization of my close friend, but he is effectively ambidextrous with that because he's creating something that one community can think of
with his right hand.
Yeah, with his right hand.
Literally.
Yeah.
No, sorry. He's very specifically split. Like all of his, not all of them, but I mean, a lot of his jokes do split an audience into two, where it's like if you read this correctly, it's a funny joke making fun of this other group, and the joke is that they are going to read this incorrectly.
Yeah.
And sometimes I'll find his stuff like I'll laugh at it out loud, and I'm like, I can't like that.
Yeah.
Because if I click like, people are gonna see me liking this deeply ironic, like anti, like I don't know, like whatever thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, I don't want my audience to misread me as calcifying against this group.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I mean, that's what I'm kind of like.
You're not interested. Yeah.
I'm not interested in doing in-group, out-group stuff. I love when other people do it.
Yeah.
And I find it so funny.
Right.
But I personally am only interested in doing stuff that I think. I mean, I'll make a joke that only people will get if you know. Like, you have to know steampunk to get a joke. But that's fine with me. That's in group, or you just can join the in group.
Right.
Accessible in group.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does make sense. I think that it is just a different. I think I personally am not interested in doing exactly what Matthew Golden is doing, but I guess I want to. I like tried to do a bunch of different, like the video art stuff. Like I've been trying to do stuff outside of the normal stand-up realm, or the normal comedy realm, or even the normal video comedy realm. I guess I'm trying to arrive at a place where I don't please people, or that I Yeah, I guess and it's not like, doing comedy that makes people uncomfortable, I think is like sort of that's like a paradox. I don't feel like comedy can make people uncomfortable. It can make people like upset, but I feel like as soon as comedy is making someone uncomfortable, it's a different thing. You're now like in a new medium.
Oh, it's no longer comedy.
Yeah, it's
That's
close. It's like a kind of performance, but yeah, if you're doing comedy with the intention of seeing people squirm, I think you're probably still working on your set. I think you're probably not there yet.
Because I mean, there are different topics that it's like will immediately be, and I do like the idea of being triggered is a big deal.
Yeah,
Like I think that does matter to people.
Totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it like I could get triggered by certain different things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean something I think a lot about is it's sort of a statistics game sometimes where you have some things are triggering to a lot of people, and I've got this joke about like hippos crushing people to death, and that happens.
Yeah.
And like that happens for real in real life.
Totally. I'd say probably more people were killed by hippos than in 9/11.
It's I think that's actually true.
Yeah.
It's like some number a year, and so
Yeah.
like the number is like only growing. It's been millions of years.
Yeah.
Like the thing is like, and so you like, if enough people see my stuff, they're good. Somebody's gonna know somebody that got too close to a hippo on an African safari or something. You know what I mean? And like it's just like, that's a weird thing where it's like somehow I can get away with that joke because it's such an unlikely situation that somebody would. But it's like at the same, I do still think about it where I'm like, I guess I could be.
You could
but I don't know.
be, yeah, you could be traipsing about the comedy space in the same way that a clumsy hippo is, and you could accidentally trample someone's feelings.
That's right. That's where I was going with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I guess. I mean, you have a rule on this podcast, which is that you can't complain about open mics. But if I'm complaining about open mics, I'm probably complaining about all stand up in general. But
you can complain about stand up. That's fine.
But yeah, there's part of me that has no interest in honing a stand up set. Like when I do a stand up show, I like to write something for the first time and perform it once, and then maybe perform it again a couple times, then never do it again. Like that's super interesting, and hopefully get it on video. That's something that's super interesting to me, is like just to try a different kind of performance every time I go up, and like really make it as strong as I can like the night before, and then not do it again maybe for a long time.
That's fascinating. I didn't know you were doing that sort of guerrilla stand up in a way. That's really cool.
It's way more fun for me. I feel like I can't do poorly, which is like the most horrifying thing that I could possibly imagine. I've bombed a few times and I never ever want to do it again. I'm so anti-bomb. I can't do it. I just become so miserable.
I've bombed plenty of times and I still bomb sometimes. But it's like at this point, like my machine is too oiled.
Yeah.
Like I'm just too aware of that I will just do my act, like kind of beat by beat. And I'm like, I get it. I bombed. I understand. I still just, and for me, it becomes an exercise in delivery,
right?
Without the correct response of an audience. You know what I
mean?
Yeah. But I know what you mean. I do it like when I bombed and then I like, back that's a recent thing. Like now I'm like, all right, well, obviously this is not the, there's 5 people here and they're spread out and they're drunk or whatever. But I have walked around the streets of Philadelphia after a bomb for a few hours, like, oh, what the fuck was that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's tough. Yeah.
Let's talk more about guerrilla stand-up in part 2 Patreon. But for the thanks for coming to Benny Frolin's podcast.
Thanks for having me on this.
What if that was my? Yeah, thanks for coming. Do you have anything that you want to plug? Any shows or anything? Check out Matthew Golden.
Check out Matt Golden, my good buddy. I guess Matt and Brian Fittiment and I are doing. I call him Matt. I'm the only person in his life that he lets call him Matt. I think in early October 4th or something.
He's coming to town, right?
Yeah.
I was gonna have him on the pod.
Yeah, you should. He's such a good hang. There's another thing that's happening around early October. I can't remember. I don't have anything to plug.
Halloween.
Halloween show.
Folks, Halloween is in a month and a half. October 31st. It should be in your neighborhood. If you can come out, that'd be great.
Yeah, well, I am doing a Halloween show. I forgot. I guess
you
I
actually
can plug
are?
that. Yeah, at the Bell House with Podcast About List and Sarah Squirm. We're
Oh,
doing-
that sounds fun.
Yeah, that'll be great.
Oh, maybe I will come to that.
You should come.
On Halloween?
Yeah, Halloween night.
What was that, a Monday? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah,
I actually might go. Fucking,
you gotta go.
fucking, I'm gonna, folks, I'm gonna be in Richmond, Thursday to Saturday of this week, which is September 15th, 16th, and 17th at Sandman Comedy Club featuring for John Marco.
Nice.
Wow, I actually have to do real plugs.
I love Richmond.
I haven't really been much, so I'm excited to check it out.
We did a show there on tour. It was awesome.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
You guys just have time during the day, like, kicking and shit?
Yeah. Yeah.
You-
Caleb has
you-
a friend out there that we played Melee with him. It was awesome.
You toured with Pod About List, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys remember Patrick Dorian from 2 episodes ago? Not My Nana, or 3 episodes ago.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking,
Good friend Patrick.
he toured with them.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. That's my plug is that I did that.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. And we had so much fun.
My plug for Pierce is you should check out his YouTube and his Twitter.
Yeah, please check out my YouTube. I've got a new YouTube video coming out pretty soon, I think.
Hell
Been
yeah.
working on it for a long time.
I'm excited. All right.
Yeah, see ya.
Break time. Peace out, everybody. Oh, yeah. Go on the Patreon or whatever. And like us on... I've been forgetting to say it. Like us on Apple or whatever. Whatever
on
platform you're
Apple.
listening to, give it a review or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Go give it a thumbs up and go... give it 3 stars and go, too edgy.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks. Bye.